In a small village nestled in the mountains, there lived a young man named Haru. He was known for his sharp mind and desire to find a deeper meaning in life. Ever since he was a child, Haru had observed the people of his village seeking happiness in every corner of their daily existence, in abundant harvests, in celebrations, in banquets. Yet despite it all, he noticed a kind of emptiness in people's eyes. It was an emptiness that was also reflected within him, even if he couldn't fully understand where it came from. If you've ever felt this way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to learn how to deal with these moments of inner reflection. One day, Haru decided to set out in search of answers. He had heard of a wise hermit, the old Maiko, who lived in isolation in the forests north of the village. The elders said that Maiko was a spiritual guide, able to see beyond the physical world and perceive the true essence of things. Haru, his heart full of hope, set out for the mountains, leaving everything he knew behind. After days of walking, Haru reached Maiko's hut. The sage greeted him with a serene smile and invited him to sit by the fire. "What brings you here, young traveler?" Maiko asked in a calm, deep voice. "I feel an emptiness inside me, as if the life I know is not enough," Haru replied. "I want to understand more. I want to find a meaning that goes beyond momentary pleasure." Do you know this feeling? Share in the comments how you deal with these moments of introspection. Maiko looked at him intently for a moment, and then, with a delicate gesture, pointed to the forest. "To find what you seek, you must first pass through the darkness. Only through the deepest night can you glimpse the light. Are you ready for this journey?" Without hesitation, Haru nodded. So, Maiko led him down a hidden path in the forest. As they advanced, the air grew thicker and thicker, and the sun that was shining overhead began to disappear behind a veil of clouds. Finally, they came to a clearing. Maiko stopped and said, "This is where your dark night of the soul begins. I cannot take you any further, but remember, what you encounter will be nothing more than a reflection of yourself. If you too are ready to embark on your own inner journey, sign up so you don't miss out on more food for thought." Haru, though fearful, entered the clearing. Suddenly he found himself enveloped in thick darkness. There was no sound, no light, no heat, only absolute silence and the overwhelming sense of being alone. His thoughts began to torment him. Doubts, fears, regrets. Everything he had ever avoided facing manifested itself before him. His mind was a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. "Why all this pain?" he wondered. "Why do I keep searching, yet find nothing that truly fulfills me?" In that oppressive solitude, Haru felt the weight of his illusions. His entire life, up until that point, had been a search for temporary gratification. But now, immersed in darkness, he realized how futile it was. He wondered if there was another way to see the world, one that didn't depend on momentary pleasure or society's expectations. After hours or maybe days of being confused, Haru sensed a faint light on the horizon. It was so faint it seemed almost unreal, but its presence was enough to give him hope. He approached the light, and as it got closer, his heart grew lighter. It wasn't an external light, but something that emerged from within him. Sometimes the light we seek is found within us. Have you ever experienced something similar? Share your experience in the comments. With each step, Haru began to understand. True peace, true happiness is not found in the things of the external world, but deep within ourselves. The emptiness he had felt was not an enemy, but an invitation to explore his innermost essence. That emptiness was a space to be filled not with fleeting pleasures, but with the awareness of his connection to the universe. When he finally reached the light, Haru found himself in the forest again, but now he saw it with different eyes. Every tree, every leaf, every ray of sunshine seemed to be imbued with life, with energy. It was as if the entire world had changed, but he knew that in reality it was he who had changed. He returned to Maiko, who was waiting for him in silence. The old sage looked at him, and with a smile said, "Did you find what you were looking for?" "Yes," Haru replied. "I found peace within myself." I realized that I was looking in the wrong place. The answer was not in the outside world, but in the silence of my heart. The key to happiness is not outside, but within us. Do you want to find out more about this inner journey? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more inspiring stories. Maiko nodded. The dark night of the soul is a passage that few face and even fewer understand. Not everyone has to go through it, but those who do emerge transformed. You have discovered that emptiness is not something to be feared, but embraced. It is in empty space that the divine manifests. Haru felt a deep sense of gratitude for that revelation. Now, what do I do? Keep living, Maiko replied, but do so with the knowledge of what you have discovered. Don't try to fill the void, but let it guide you. Life is a continuous awakening, an uninterrupted flow of discovery and transformation. Every moment is an opportunity to deepen that connection you have found within yourself. True transformation happens when we learn to embrace our darkness and find the light within. Haru left the sage's hut, carrying with him a new sense of purpose. He returned to the village, but he was no longer the same young man who had left. Now, every daily gesture, every encounter with others, was permeated by that profound understanding. He had learned to live in the present without being a slave to desires or fears. He had learned to see beauty in the darkness and to find light even in the most difficult moments. The people of the village noticed the change in him. Haru no longer sought momentary pleasures or avoided difficulties. Instead, he lived with a serenity and wisdom that inspired all who met him. When people asked him what he had discovered during his journey, Haru would smile and reply, "I have learned that true peace is not found by looking outside ourselves, but by embracing what is within." And so, Haru continued to live his life with simplicity, depth, and awareness, sharing his journey with anyone who would listen. Every day was an opportunity to further awaken his soul, and even when difficulties arose, he faced them with the calm of someone who had already known the darkest night and found the light. Haru's story became an example for the village and beyond. People began to see emptiness not as an enemy, but as a fundamental part of their spiritual path. They understood that true fulfillment does not come from what you possess, but from what you discover within yourself. If you found inspiration in this story, remember that every darkness can lead to light. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss other stories that will guide you on your path. And so, as Haru had learned, they too began to look for light in their dark nights, finding peace, wisdom, and, above all, love in every corner of their existence.